Oh snap! I got the meme guy in the house. What is up, man?
Not too much. It's another day in paradise.
Hell yeah, man! And this is my studio B, as I call it. Um, because my kids are asleep upstairs, so I'm downstairs. I have a little curtain thing that I put up back here, just to black out the background, so I'm not like captured somewhere. It looks like I'm held hostage.
It does.
It looks like I'm like hidden in someone's basement, hostage right now, but I'm not. I promise you, everything's okay. Um, but man, I'm gonna be honest. All I know about you is your meme game is fire. That's it.
It's decent.
I'd say it's more than decent, bro. You're killing the meme game. And like I said earlier before I could hear you. I know about security forces from your memes. Like, I know about the security forces culture from your memes. You know what I mean? Because like I'm already
Of
in the
course.
military, so like I get it a little bit. But then when I see the memes, like it all just kind of like ties it together for me.
I try to keep it as relatable as possible. To,
Yeah, I love it, man. It's good stuff, man. But like, okay, first of all, have you ever done a podcast before?
nah, first one.
You're kidding me.
I was super nervous. I was like, oh, I gotta do a podcast. Let me just wing it.
That's awesome, man. And I had to like internet stalk you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I had to keep commenting, you should talk about that on Hero Front. And then eventually you were like, say when.
I'm always down.
But my man, I just want to thank you so much for choosing Hero Front as your very first podcast. I love it, man. I love it. And so what is your name? Let's start with that. What's your name? What do I call you?
Thane Sandy.
And we're gonna start with three random questions called the Hero's Gauntlet. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit you with three just right out the gate, just to kick it off.
Get it.
All right. First question. What security forces meme have you actually lived in real life multiple times?
To be honest, probably about all of them.
All of them?
No, not all. Maybe like a good 80%.
Okay, which one stands out the most? That you
Standing out the most.
yeah, that you've like actually experienced and you're just like, really again?
I would say that one would be probably the first one I had. Is like this is probably back in like 2016. So if I remember the verbiage, then it's because it's been so long. But
So
it was
like your very first one. So like something happened to you and you said, you know what? I need to make this a meme because like this is just I know I'm not the only one experiencing this. And so that is actually what led you to making your very first meme.
it's like when the flight chiefs are looking for volunteers,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Homer Simpson and that where he's hiding in the bush.
Yes, when he just disappears.
Yes. So I cropped my body into the Homer Simpson, and I was hiding in the bushes. So
So like he asked
that
for volunteers and then it showed you just fade away.
exactly.
Okay. Funny story about that Homer Simpson meme. I was a commander's exec once for the Med Group commander. Her name's Colonel Crystal Henderson, amazing person. And my going away gift to her was the Homer Simpson meme, but like with her rank and everything, like disappearing because like she gets put in so many awkward situations. It was kind of like our inside joke, just like the
Mhm.
situations that she has to deal with. Like she just wants to fade away. So I literally put that on a mug, put Colonel on it, and gave it to her. It was
She
awesome.
knows the struggle as well.
Yes, she 100%. Yeah. All right.
Love it.
Second question. Second question would be who would play you in a movie?
JB Smooth.
Okay, show me the picture. You have it on your phone? Yes, dude. 100. I know that guy. Yes, that is you. That would be you. That's perfect.
So based on looks alone, and he's a comedian, I'd
Yeah.
100% go with him.
I think that's perfect, man. I think he would do you justice. Okay, so third question. I'm going to hit you with the sentimental now. Okay.
Whew.
We're going to change gears. But what was your proudest Air Force moment?
Probably Air Force moment would be, so I've donated 450 shirts overseas.
Oh wow. So like the meme guy shirts.
I saw mental health matters shirts
Oh
and
nice.
some Defender Fortis shirts. I would say that'll be my proudest moment because I've been overseas and like when you get them care packages, it's like
Yeah.
really cool, especially when you're isolated overseas. Can't really go anywhere. But just being on the sending end, I
Hmm.
think that was like
You kind of had some ownership of like you know how it feels to get that stuff and you were kind of providing it on like this really large scale.
just with the help of the career field. So I was doing like a 1-on-one. Like you buy a shirt, I send one overseas.
Oh, wow, that's genius.
450. So it wasn't just me, it was everybody else who was supporting me in my business and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so I got a bonus question. Are you currently serving?
I am.
You're still in.
I am.
You're the meme guy and you're still in. That's I'm still in and I'm doing a podcast. So obviously I appreciate that because we're kind of paving our own path and kind of entering this new era where it's a bit more like normal to be on so to have a social media presence and still be in the military. Because you remember there was a time where that was not well received. And I was gonna talk to you about that too. Um, but before we get into the meme stuff itself, I think me and really anyone else listening um would want to know like who you are, man. Who's Thane? Like when did you join? Why did you join? You know, how long have you been in? What bases have you been? Just like about you, your career, and just who you are as a person.
I was born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey. When I was 17 years old, I moved to Tampa. So when I went to Tampa, I met my buddy Ryan Washington. We both didn't really know what we wanted to do career wise. So he was joining the army, and he wanted me to join. So I went to the recruiter's office. They were closed, so I went next door to the Air Force, and I saw like the I didn't really know much about the military, but I saw like the PJ little cardboard cutout,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do.
Oh
So
snap! You just went there right off the bat. Wow.
I didn't know anything about it. Cool. So I was like, oh, well, I'll do this. So talked to the recruiter. He was telling me about the pass test, and he said, hey, you got to be a proficient swimmer. I know how to swim, so I took swimming classes. So I eventually was like, I'm not that comfortable enough to be doing that because I'm a shitty swimmer. So
I am too.
anyway, I was like, there's no way.
You have
So
to be swimming like your whole life to do that job.
he was telling me you have to be like a high school swimmer. Like those are like really
Yes.
the people who he
Yes.
sees goes and does it.
Yeah, you have to be more comfortable swimming than walking.
And
You
that's
know what I
definitely
mean?
not me.
Right, me neither. All right.
And then he signed me up for EOD.
Oh,
So I
nice.
took the pass test for that, passed it. So I was waiting for a date for EOD, and then he called me and like he was like, "Hey, if you want to do security forces, it's the next best thing." I didn't know anything about anything, so I was like, "Sure." I'm just trying to like go do my thing. I a little tired of waiting, so I was like, "Sure." So I joined in 2011, basic training, tech school, all that good stuff. But I just joined because I was looking for a different career path, and because the Army recruiting office was closed, so I was like,
Dang, they screwed up,
"The Lord."
man. They were close. They lost. They didn't get the meme guy, did? Oh man, they screwed up. They have no idea what they're missing out on.
So funny story. My first base was a Minot.
Got him.
No. It wasn't Minot. I was supposed to go to Minot, and then I got DQ'd from PRP. My order said Keesler, so I went on leave, took my rap, bought a car, drove to Keesler, and they were like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be at Tyndall." So
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
"All right, well, my order says Keesler as you see it, but they diverted me to Tyndall."
Mm.
And then nobody ever told me, so they did an amendment to my orders, and my first base was Keezer. I'm in my third base, so I was at Keezer for 8 years, quite a while.
Oh my god. 8 years?
Whew. Yeah.
Dang.
At first, I was like, all right, South Mississippi, it's not going to be a fun time, but I'd go back
So that
in a
was a really
heartbeat.
good experience for you.
It was. It had its ups and downs, but the local area was nice. A lot of stuff to do. So when people
Awesome.
think Mississippi, they think like North Mississippi, places that I wouldn't go.
Like what were some of the like impactful moments of that time? Like, cause you had to have gone through all the stages of like being a new airman. You went through all that trial and error period. Um, into becoming like an NCO, I would assume at that point.
Hmm.
So like you saw the full gambit at one base. That had to have been unique. You know what I mean? Was there any like pivotal moments for you uh at that first assignment?
Pivotal, I'll say going Cadam. So since I went Cadam, it's just like night and day. A lot better lifestyle, Monday through Friday. You actually get to teach, so you get something out of it. People appreciating what you do for them. So in 2020, I went to Turkey and just learning the job, honestly. So when I was cadem at Kaiser, I was doing just a regular instructor job. Then I became NCIC of the Armory, and then at Interlic, I became NCIC of the shop. So that was like a big learning experience. Didn't really know what I was doing. I just had to like learn as I was going. I didn't really have like the best changeover. At the time, I was going through some personal issues as well, and it was just hard to like manage all the stress and everything.
And so now that brings us to your current assignment,
Correct.
which is,
Lackland.
oh, you're like, dude, I was just there, man. You didn't go to AFSA?
No,
So did you realize that in 2016 you'd be at, where you're at now with social media? Did you ever foresee that?
never.
Never. So why don't you tell us about your meme journey on how you went from that one Homer Simpson meme to tens of thousands of followers and all this cool ass merch and just everyone in the Air Force knowing, who you are and your meme page. Like how what is all the in between?
So before I sent that meme in, so before it was called Security Forces Humor. That page has been in existence since like 2012. I didn't really know too much about it, but 4 years later, after they started their page, I sent them a meme. They posted it. Everybody out who I was working with was like, "Man, that meme was dope. You got to send them another one." So I sent them another one. Everybody liked that as well. People from like back home, people from Texas School, BMT, were tagging me in there, like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." So I continued to like send memes and stuff, and they eventually were like, "Hey, do you want to become an admin?" They were like, "Hey, you have to be really active, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh." At first, I declined, but I also continued to send them memes and everything. So kept sending them stuff, and then I was like, you know what? I'll become an admin. So I became an admin. No, I think it was November of 16, and then I would just make memes, and maybe like 3 years later, the page became inactive by the other admins,
Really?
and then they were like, "Hey, we're becoming a little inactive. You're the only one posting memes. Do you want to take over?" So I bought the page for an undisclosed amount, and then shortly after, I was like, "Hey, I need to get this money back that I spent for the brand."
Yeah.
So I started doing merch. That went pretty well,
Yeah.
and that was like 2019 when I bought the page and started the merch.
So this is newer than I thought for you.
What do you mean?
Like I thought you've been doing this for much, much longer, but it sounds like as far as you taking over, that's really not that long ago.
So, yeah, so I started the memes 2016 is when I became like admin, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
2019 is when I became. I mean, not became. Is when I was a sole admin, and then started the merch.
And so at that point, it still had like a pretty good following and everything.
It had about think it was like 35 to 45,000 when I took over.
Nice. And so it was kind of like a business deal. Like, hey, if you're going to be the sole owner of this, you didn't invent it, but you're the only one still doing it. And so that's when you discussed like buying that from them so that you could own it and still continue to do it.
Correct.
Nice. That's
And
awesome, man.
then, and that was 2019, and people knew I was the admin, but people really didn't know because it was still Security Forces humor. And then I didn't change it to Security Forces meme guy until maybe 2020. So I've been anonymous for 2016 to 20, about like 4 years. Nobody knew it was me.
Nobody knew it was you.
Correct.
That's wild, man. So like you would hear people talk about it and you'd be like, damn, that's me. And like you wouldn't say anything.
Correct. I would
Why did
deny if you.
okay,
People
why
like,
did
"Is that
you
you?"
why did you stay anonymous?
I didn't want all that attention and everything. I live a simple life. I just chill. So I just
So
didn't want
like
all the extra attention. People sending me stuff like, "Hey, you gotta post this."
gotcha. So well, obviously that changed because now your face is the logo, which I
Correct.
love. I love the cartoon picture of you, man. It's I love it. Every time I see it, it brings a smile to my face. Um, so why the change of heart? Like at what point did you say, you know what, I'm gonna put my face as the brand, I'm gonna let people know it is me? Like at what point did you make that decision?
To be a little more transparent, especially on the business end, I don't want people like, "Hey, I don't know who I'm buying it from." I just want to be a little more transparent.
Oh, cause so when you consider the merch side, you're like, hey, if I'm like a mystery, then they'd probably be reluctant to like buy this merch.
Correct.
I gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So, cat's out the bag. People know it's you. Your face is the logo, and you're still serving. I want to hear about like your interactions with people who either recognize you or know it's you. Like, does that happen?
It does. So I work with BMT students, and every now and then they're like, "Oh, are you this SF meme guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like sometimes I'll tell them yes, sometimes I'll deny it and act like I don't know what they're talking about. Just depends my mood. But they know me mostly for from like my our YouTube channel. That's where they mostly know it from, not necessarily the memes. So I'll say it's about 50-50 because
Okay.
I feel like before a lot of people join, they go to YouTube and see the experiences of other people. Correct. So a lot of my videos aren't necessarily like, "Hey, this is my experience," but I'll have like a weapon review or like different types of weapons that security forces shoot. Mostly security forces videos,
Mm,
but not necessarily like day in the life of which I'm working
gotcha.
on.
Gotcha. Um, has your leadership ever like said anything to you? Has that ever like, hey, are you that guy that's putting all these memes up? Like, has that ever been a thing?
I would say before I was anonymous, it was like, "Hey, is that you?" And they would know, but they would also not know because what I used to do is like have my I'd Photoshop my face onto memes, and they're like, "Hey, is this you?" I'm like, I'll look at it, act like, just kind of troll, and like, "Oh no, that's not me," but it kind of does look like me. And other people knew it was me because they see me. They seen the picture I took. They seen the picture like in existence. So like you see a meme and you're like, "Wow, this is like an effed up meme," and then you see like the reactions of people expanding on it, so it's a true thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like they know it's true, and I don't necessarily do anything. I don't make any dark memes. I don't call people out. I have in the past, but I don't really like call people like, "Hey, this master sergeant, blah blah blah, is doing this." I
Mm,
try to stay away from that,
mm.
and just as long as I stay away from that, people usually let me just do my thing.
I kind of learned through my own journey that not everyone appreciates what I do. So like I try to bring a positive message on resiliency and mental health and getting to know our veterans and our airmen. And and I keep it relatively positive, but there have been times where people have tried to stop me, shut it down, threaten me, etc. So like I know the struggle of being an active duty content creator. Like we're not necessarily doing anything wrong, but that doesn't mean zero people will have a problem with it. There will be someone, who will have an issue with it for whatever reason. Have you ever run into any of that?
Mm, not really. This is one scenario, not a scenario, but a situation where don't want to get into too many details, but there was a senior NCO soliciting to minors, and there was like FBI transcripts, so everybody knew they were guilty, right?
Okay.
And I was just making memes about it, and then I had people like bash me because they haven't had their day in trial, which I never said like, "Hey, this person did it," but I was just making some memes, and a lot of backlash on that.
Gotcha.
But as much as like people were like loving it, people were hating it as well.
Yeah. So that was a
But
bit more of the controversial side, you'd say.
correct, I don't really do stuff like that anymore, but or at least I try to stay away from it.
Yeah.
But I do agree, like for yourself, like if you want to promote mental health, you'll have like old school veterans who like, hey, you better suck it up,
Right.
or I'll see pages where like it's like outreach pages where somebody's
Yeah.
like, hey, help, blah blah blah, and I'll always see like the people who don't support them.
Mm,
So I would assume people just don't support me for whatever reason, and
yeah.
I just keep doing what I do.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at me as a inspiration, motivation, and even though I don't see it, they do. So I'm like, phew, I gotta like try to be positive.
Yeah. You're kind of an artist in a way. I think any, you know what I mean? Any content creator
Content, exactly.
is an artist in their own way because you're taking something in your mind and you're making it, you're creating something out of it. And people love memes because they are relatable, because it is things that are on our mind, things that we're frustrated with or that we think is funny. And we kind of think we're the only ones that see it that way. But then when that meme comes out and other people relate to it, there's kind of something special with like how that brings everyone together. And I saw Chief Bass follows you.
Oh, does she?
Chief Bass
Nah.
follows. I'm friends with her. She don't even follow me. I gotta bug her about that. She's not even following me. She's following you, man. I just checked. I was like, what? And then you're the one person that you're following is her.
Exactly.
So if you ever do follow a second person, I'm just saying, um, yeah, I could use the help. Anyways, what is your take on like veteran mental health today? Is that something you take seriously? Is that something that you've dealt with personally? Or has everything kind of just been really, easy for you throughout your career and your life?
Whew. So I would say I had my ups and downs in my careers, but I never really struggled with mental health until I went to Turkey, had some personal issues going on, and I was like, man, like, shoot, like I was always tired. I was like, man, I need a break, and I was like all the time happening.
So like you had that constant like exhaustion feeling,
Correct.
which is the worst feeling in the world to me.
So I would say I definitely did need mental health, or not necessarily like mental health, but just I knew something wasn't perfect and something wasn't right. So I kind of didn't know what it was. So anyway, I kind of pushed it aside, and then got to Lackman. And I was having like a little more personal issues, and then I was like, damn. So that was in February, and then I was like, man, I need to go to mental health or something.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to do stuff before I go to mental health, like try to improve on my own
Mm,
by going to the gym, doing things I enjoy.
yeah.
Then another stressful event happened. None of it is military related. It was all like personal issues and just deaths in the family that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
And it was like the third death that was close to me. So before Turkey, like I never really experienced any like family deaths or anything. Then when I got there, it was just like one, and then got here another one. And so after the second family death, that's kind of when I was like, damn, I need to do something. So before I actually went to go see somebody, I was just talking to different people to see what their take was of like mental health therapy, all that good stuff. So I would say there's different avenues of like getting therapy, mental health treatment, blah blah blah. So I actually didn't want to go to the military, so I called One Source, and
Mm,
so I was actually I forgot I was driving somewhere, so I called One Source, got in my car. By the time my Bluetooth connected, there was already somebody on the phone. So it probably rang maybe once, maybe twice,
yeah,
but they were on the phone right away, and I got an appointment for therapy within like 20 minutes.
that's awesome, man.
So just advocating for mental health and going to therapy really did help. And I would say when I called One Source and I was waiting for that therapy, that was more therapeutic than the therapy itself. I was like, wow,
Really? So like having the courage to call and take that step, you're saying that that was healing in a sense.
it was.
What does your future look like? Are you going to do 20 years, you think, or are you going to get out, or what's your plans?
Probably hit the 20
Oh, you're going to go to 20.
and see where I'm at then, and then
Yeah,
get out, stay in. Just, but the plan is at least 20.
at least 20. Any family with you or there, or are you flying solo?
Just me.
Flying solo. Nice. Has there ever been like a favorite meme of yours?
Favorite meme?
Yeah. Your favorite one.
Whew.
I just have big questions today. I'm sorry.
I don't want to say memes. Memes are something that comes in my mind. I'll just make a meme. I post it, right? I don't care if it gets 1 likes, 1,000 likes. If it's funny to me, I'm posting it.
Nice.
So I wouldn't want to say I have a favorite meme, but I have some videos I have that are like that I'm proud of.
I liked this one.
Oh,
First time you see the new troop in civies, because I've that dude, I have been in those situations, especially at my first and second base overseas, where like you basically see an airman in costume. They're basically wearing a costume, and you're like, are you joking, or is this like for real, or like? So, dude, this one nailed it. This one- And it says, first time you see the new troop in civies, and it's a guy from a movie where he's trying to dress as Neo from the Matrix. I think you came out with one of like all the stuff people say when they pull up to the gate, like asking for directions or like just all the
oh yeah.
random, and like I said all of those things. And I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. Like I didn't know that was a thing, but like I do that. I ask those dumb questions.
We do like a lot of civilians who like try to pull up. They'll think it's like a toll plaza, so they'll try to like not give us cash, but they'll be like, this isn't a toll plaza, or they'll try to
The toll
what was it?
plaza, the Starbucks. They just want to go.
Starbucks. We
They just want to go on base to get to the Starbucks.
at Keyser we had Baskin Robbins, and I believe that was the only Baskin Robbins on like the coast.
Oh
So
wow.
people would pull up to the gate trying to go to Baskin Robbins. It's like, wow, nope. You thought
You thought. Did you ever have to like respond to anything serious like as security forces?
at security forces? Yes, security forces ain't had them.
Really?
So I have it on one of my it's a video out there, but somebody came through with probably about this much weed.
No. They try to come in through the gate with a brick of weed.
Yeah.
Was this like an active duty person, or was this like a dependent or someone not affiliated with the base at all and just accidentally drove on?
So there was a civilian. He was wanting to see his wife that was in labor, and she was also a dependent to. I think her dad was retired or something like that. But
Oh,
he
okay.
came through the gate, really strong scent of marijuana. So I was like, "Hey, can you get out of the vehicle for me?" And then he got out, and I tried to isolate him from the vehicle. So I had Alpha, and this is like his first day on the job. I was like, shoot, can you just watch him really quick? I forgot what I was gonna do, but he wasn't complying, so he tried to like walk around the vehicle, and I followed him. I was just saying like stop. He didn't comply, so I like whipped out my baton, extended it, and then he just dropped to his knees. But
Oh, wow.
and when that happened, I had two patrols, one or two patrols, just like already on their way. So by the time he was on the knees, I'm detaining him. The backer was on scene.
And then at
That's what
what point
paid.
did you find this brick of weed?
So we did a search of his vehicle, and then I think it was in the cooler box or something. But we checked his vehicle, then
Oh
we
my
found it.
God. The guy was so high, he just was not even thinking that day. Like,
I'm not sure if he was high, but he just had the weed with him. I think he was high. Yeah, he was.
I mean, I would assume with that much in his vehicle and to drive on base, like he, you know what I mean?
There was a guy. He was harassing somebody that was in the dorms. We pulled up to the dorms at that time. He left, so it was a little manhunt going on base. We eventually caught him, brought him in. I worked mids, so it'll be a ton of DUIs. One of them, one DUI we had, dude had a gun in the car, and we gave him a ticket, court date, whatever. We went. I don't know if we went to court or not, but by the time court was supposed to happen, I think he passed away. So I was like, man,
Whoa, that's
that's
wow.
crazy. Younger dude. I'm not sure how he died or anything, but I was like, man.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, DUIs are sometimes a sign that something else is, going on in that person's life. So who knows? So speaking of DUIs, like, in what situation do you catch these DUIs? Is it them driving on base sloppy? Is it them coming through the gate? Like, where do you mostly catch these DUIs?
At the gate,
Really,
they'll
at the
pull up.
gate?
Correct. They'll pull up intoxicated, and you'll just see that like they'll have a lot of slur speech. They'll be swerving on the way in. You can just tell, honestly. You smell it. At Keyser, we had the gate, we had the visitor center, and in the visitor center, we had a parking lot. And everything's military jurisdiction. So by the time, so this dude pulled up, parked in the parking lot, drunk, came through stumbling, and then we had to hook him up and take him in
So he
because
thought,
he was driving. Exactly.
oh my God. So this dude thought, I got a plan. I'm going to drive drunk to the gate, park, and then walk through the gate so that I don't get a DUI. But you saw him drive up, and then you clearly saw that he was drunk walking through the gate.
Exactly.
That's wild, man. That's that drunk logic right there. When you're drunk, if you were drunk, that sounds like a legit plan that would work. And then like executing it don't work.
Then the morning after, you're like, damn, what was I thinking?
What is it about security forces that really just loves what you're putting out there?
Because we embrace the sucks. So just having that little humor through shift just kind of helps a little bit. Something relatable, something funny.
And I notice security forces like you guys have it like kind of tough sometimes, like with the working the gate and the off and the wild shifts and the not getting all the holidays off and all that. Like I feel like your memes are like kind of like a way to like keep the focus like on the positivity in some fashion.
That's the goal. Even though some people may not see it that way, but they might see it as I made a meme in like a week or two ago. Something related. I'm not gonna say which one it was, but it was something relatable. Um, when I posted it, people were expanding on it. So I feel like if I post a meme about this, people expand on it, tell stories, personal experiences, stuff they've seen. In my eyes, that's a win because I know it's relatable, it's true. And then you have those people who may have not experienced it or ever seen it, who are thinking I'm trying to create a bad image, if that makes sense.
Oh, so there's two different perspectives there. There's people who have seen it and they are telling stories and sharing stories. And then there's another group who think that you're pointing out something that never ever happens and painting this and kind of painting this picture that isn't exactly true.
Correct.
Wow, that's interesting dynamic that you got there.
I would say this. I had a cool experience. I was in charge of like getting the cardboard cutouts. And I was like, you know what, let me put myself on a cardboard cutout. So that was one of my I wouldn't want to consider it like an accomplishment, but it's one of the cooler things I got to do while I was at Keyser. They think it's
Yo.
huge.
Oh my gosh. Dude. That's
This is like my favorite thing ever, honestly.
Bro, you could post that anywhere and just morale would go up.
It was a lot bigger than this. They had one at the BX, one at the gym, and I forgot what the third one was, but and at the Med group. I think it was cool because a lot of people were like taking selfies with it and like sending it to me. I was like, hell yeah.
Dude, we should do like a Hero Front like collab meme.
I'm down.
I don't know what that's gonna look like. I'll help you. Like I'll do my best at making a meme. And then I'll send it to you to tweak it, and then you can say we collabed on that meme.
And I do have advice for any content creator, even yourself. I know you said that you were kind of struggling with Instagram.
Yeah.
When I did my Instagram, I was posting every single day, like twice a day, 3 times a day. I was just posting nonstop. It has to be quality content. You can't just post BS and expect people to react. You gotta post every day something relatable, even if it's just like a little quote that you deem that that you see that your audience will appreciate.
Yeah.
But I would say memes is probably the best marketing tool ever, because people just go to Instagram, Facebook just to look at memes.
Like, yeah, like it's so relatable that like it spreads like wildfire. Like you,
Exactly.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I think the same is true for podcasting, for networking. I call podcasting the cheat code for networking. So kind of not every clip or every podcast is fire, or anything or relatable even, but the people that you meet, like me and you, we're going to know each other forever now, and other people are going to see this story and they're going to know you now. So like the relationship side, from what I do, I think is probably the coolest part about it.
If you could choose one person in the Air Force to do a podcast with, who would it be?
And that's a good question. One person in the Air Force. So I've always wanted to have a podcast with Chief Bass. I'll just be honest, because I did know her before she was selected, and I think it's just she's just a great person, and I'd love to have her on, and I think it will eventually happen. But I'd say that one is doable for me, right? Like it's possible for me. So if I were to shoot for the stars, I would pick the SEAC, CZ, who is like a special forces hero and he's the highest DOD enlisted member. Once he became that, so see, before he became that, I even kind of knew of him because I went to AFA and he was there. This is the year right before he was selected. He was completely reachable. Like people, you could BS with him. He was a chief in the Air Force. He was completely reachable and approachable.
Mhm.
Once he became the SEAC, he became unreachable. He's basically on another planet. And I would have no way of even asking him to come on. Like it's not even possible for me to find him to ask the question. Even when he went to AFSA, I mean, he's got like a team of people with him, man. Like he's in and out. Like he's got a schedule. Like he's on the move, man. Like he's not just shooting the breeze. You know what I mean? He's got full plate. So I would probably pick the SEAC CZ because he is a war hero and he's unreachable. So there's two reasons why I'd want him on, because it's damn near impossible to do, and two, his stories are probably pretty amazing from all the things that he's been through in his career.
Exactly.
No, I appreciate you asking me a question though, man. I like that. That was a really good question, man.
And what made you get into podcasting?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into that. I'd say the at its heart, at its core, when I was an airman, I was struggling with alcoholism, um, isolation, depression, and that all led to me almost dying of a heart virus. And I had a lot of untreated mental health stuff too at that time because I felt really isolated and shameful about it. And I was on a night shift, and I was maintenance, and I didn't really have that much interaction with people. And so like there was no one I could ask help from, really. I was on my own on the flight line every night. Um, and so like I kind of want it to be a message to someone who's isolated. What kind of message was I looking for
Mhm.
when I was isolated and I didn't have anyone to ask or talk to, and I almost lost my life from that, like from that lifestyle. I'm trying to get that message to people like that. So at its heart, at its core, that's what it stems from for me. That's why I started it. I also like to, it's also my form of gratitude. So like me telling you I appreciate you is asking you to come on and get to know you and hear you and see you and talk to you.
Aw.
That's how I say thank you. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I never really had a form of gratitude. Like I struggled with that. I'd hear the word, I know what it means, but like I never really felt gratitude until I started podcasting. And then I can give you that spotlight. I can highlight you and give you that voice and that platform. And that's my way of saying thank you to somebody. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. The reason why I like really watching podcasts more than anything else because I think it's intriguing to see different people and just to see what they go through. 'Cause usually when you see like a public figure, you just see like their creations, what they've done. You don't really get into that mindset of like, hey, why is this person doing this? And just their backstory. So I think that's neat. I love podcasts.
It's neat having you on, man. Like I wanted to ask you these questions, like your favorite meme or the struggle that you were on. Like I didn't know that you were in hiding at one point on the meme page. Like no one, not in hiding, but no one knew it was you.
Hmm.
Like so there's so much to your story even, and how you want to bring joy to people's lives, even like the embrace the suck mentality. Like even though things are shitty right now, we can still point and laugh at this. Like you're still you care enough to bring that joy to people's lives. Like you obviously care a lot about that because you still do it to this day. You know what I mean? And so the last thing I want to ask you, man, is how can we find this fire merch? I want that sticker on my water bottle of your face. I want it. And I want a shirt too. How do I find it?
sfmemeguy.com. And I was on leave earlier this month. I got back a little sooner than expected. So I projected my website to be back up the 1st of September. So September 1st, you'll see new merch. I might put some stickers on there.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that's when it'll be up.
And so you have your own website for that. That's pretty awesome, man.
So funny story. When I was anonymous, I made it securityforceshumor.com. I really wanted to like do my own website, but I was like so passionate about being anonymous. I was like, let me just keep sticking with this brand. But now I switched it over from Security Forces Humor to SF Meme Guy.
I love that. And the picture is perfect. Like that is the best logo ever. Where do you hope to see that brand? How do you hope all this looks 10 years from now? If you could just make it look like anything.
It would probably be more video oriented. Like I started working on like training videos, like how to shoot better. I try to make videos on like new weapon systems, new tools that we're getting. So like when the M18, the new service pistol, dropped, every base was getting like 2, just so the instructors would get proficient before you start teaching it. So I made an M18 video, so I want to do stuff like that. Like, hey, this is the newest, latest, and greatest. I'm gonna teach you how to use it before you actually get issued it. Because some equipment that we get, to know like formal training, we just have to like just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I try to like make videos just so we can kind of get to know the.
No, that's that's a huge resource, man. Like people are looking on YouTube for that exact thing. So I think if you were to expand it to like your niche, your expertise, you know, especially in that rare position that you are at Cadam, like that would be, I think that'd be spot on, man. So Thane, I just want to tell you, man, thank you for being you. I want to tell you thank you for keeping the meme game strong and for just sharing this creative way you see the world with everybody else. You put smiles on hundreds of thousands of people's faces, maybe millions at this point.
Millions.
It's millions. You put smiles on millions of faces out there and kind of brought just a little bit of joy day by day into everyone's lives, just because that's just the kind of guy you are, man. So I just wanted to thank you for being you and for sharing your creativity with the world.
Thanks for having me on. This is my first podcast. I'm grateful. Thanks for this opportunity. Like it's crazy. I was super nervous, dude. So when you pushed it back today, I was like, thank you.
No, man, I think you did phenomenal, man. I couldn't even tell that you were nervous. And I'm also very appreciative that you trusted me to come on Hero Front and to get to know you, the man behind the memes. And you're a great dude. And you know, I hope to collab with you on some stuff going forward.
Always.